Hello everyone. Hello everyone and welcome to That Mom Vlog. Hi guys, I miss you. I hope you're doing well. Today we're going to talk about some tips that I have on how to get your kids to love to read books. So the first time I even introduced books to my kids is I just read to them in the womb. Like, when you're like, okay, I'm gonna wait till my baby shower before I get anything for them. And then you end up just buying stuff. I used to buy little books and I would just read to Victoria or just even read what I had. So I was in school too. No, I wasn't in school with her. But just reading little things and just talking to them. Then for her baby shower, I asked people to, instead of getting books, I asked them to send a card. Instead of getting cards, get a book and send it to us. And like they could write a note in it. And because I don't really like gift cards. And then this way it'll last even longer. So sometimes I'll text people like, hey, Victoria picked out your book tonight, which was like 5 or 6 years ago, from when they gave it to us. After that, I would just read to her, just whenever we would just pick up a book randomly. Then our local library had some 1,000 books before kindergarten. And I thought that was so awesome. So, because we were already reading, but why not get credit for it? So I'm so into getting credit for things. So what it is, you sign up for it, you just write your name on a paper, and then they will give you a sheet and about like a half, like an 8x11, half of an 8x11 sheet, and it would have like 100 bumblebees on it, and it would spell out something. Maybe even, I don't even know what it spelled out. Maybe it was sun rays. So what we would do every time I would read with her, I would just color in one of those circles. If it had been a while, and I know I usually averaged about 3 books a day, then I would go ahead and color in those. So every 100, you would go back into the library. They would give you like a little sticker, like good job, and a bookmark or something else. And so we did it. We finished it. And so she read 1,000 books. And I was like, oh, I wish I could kind of go on, And she said, oh, yes, the librarian. She was so awesome. And I miss her being at our local library. And she told us that we could just keep going. So we did that. I probably stopped around, I think after she got to 2,000, I was like, okay, because the librarian had moved. So they were like, you already hit 1,000, what you doing? So, but even before kindergarten, she had read like 2,000 books. And when I say she read 2,000 books, that means that I'm reading to her. She can pick out the title, which they love. You want to read things that you're excited about. Also, even if they want to read the same book over and over again, that's okay too. So all of those things counted. Another way that I would do if they really liked a book, so there was one book that I remember my boys like, Itsy Bitsy Little Spider. I would read it to them, I would sing it to them, and then maybe I would read it in another voice because they wanted to read it over and over again. So if you could always find out if your library offers something like that. If they don't, you can make up 100 little circles and have your kids color them in and then give them like a little dollar store treat or something like that when they hit their 100. As I mentioned earlier, I would do usually about 3 books a day with them. So that gives you about an average, and they really encourage you to read for 20 minutes because it says the more time that you spend reading, the better the kids will do on their SAT, like their standardized testing. We haven't done any standardized testing yet, but I do see the benefits. I remember once the kids were watching snow on TV, or they were just talking. They said, oh, and snow goes crunch, crunch, crunch. And I was like, what? How do you know? Like, they've never seen snow. But it was the book, The Snowy Day, that they read and that they remembered. So I was just like, just from that moment, it's like, wow, books can really, expose them to so much, even if they're not actually there. So like I mentioned, I let the kids choose what stories they wanted to read. So I'm going to show you some of their favorites. So for my boys, They love Peppa Pig. So Tooth Fairy, well, actually we have like 50 of these books. I just grabbed one. But their favorite character, like just read them their favorite character. So my dad sent that to them. Everyone Poops. I felt terrible for buying this, but they absolutely love it. They thought it was so funny. And it just shows what different size. So it's kind of gross. So if you can't handle it. But it just says that everybody poops. See the bunny poops everywhere, here and there, but it just talks about everybody's poop. They asked me to like video different type of poop. The watermelon seed, this is something that was silly, and I just will read it to them. They loved it. You like it? I love it. We counted for a book player. They love this book. Brown Boy, What Can You Be? And the really cool thing about it is that both of their godmothers bought them one, the boys. So Victoria likes to read it, and it just talks about a chef, a meteorologist, an actuary. And then Kim sent us this one, our former Miss BCU. 5-minute Marvel stories. They take like 15 or 20, so don't play this up. Let me put these back. So those are some of my boys' favorite books. Some of Victoria's favorites. I Was So Mad. So a book about emotions. Bibbidi Bop Barbershop. She'd been to the barbershop with her brothers and daddy. Goodnight Lab. So you see the representation there. She liked this book. Has Albert Einstein. And it talks about the different tools that they use. And this is one of the books that I would sneak in. So sometimes I would tell them, okay, you choose a book and I'm gonna choose a book if I wanna kind of expose them to something new. And this is Good Night Stories for Rebel Girls. And it just talks about, let me see, just different women in history. Amelia Earhart, just a whole bunch of different people, politicians, writers, and there's 2 volumes, and we have both of those thanks to Rosalind. Some other reasons that I love books is that you can explain things to them with the book that that may be hard for you to explain otherwise. So this is Big Sisters Are the Best, and this book just prepares you, letting you know what big sisters do. If they're helping mom and dad get diapers, if they're having quiet time while the baby's sleeping, even if they're just having alone time with mommy and daddy, but just like kind of how they fit in and what it looks like. Letting them know that, like this page here says that little babies drink bottles, they don't eat cupcakes. So just to kind of prepare them. Also, this is one that I like, Big Hair Don't Care. So it's like, be unapologetically you. Like, if you got a fro, honey, wear your fro. And if people want a good seat, they're going to get there before you or adjust. Debbie Allen, Dancing with the Stars. Oh, excuse me, Dancing in the Wings. I completely changed that. But it's a little girl. She's got big feet. Her brother teases her. She's tall. And then I love this book, Tap the Magic Tree. And with this book, every time that you turn a page, so it says there's magic in this bare brown tree. Tap it once. Turn the page just to see. And then you see you get a little leaf. So every page that you tap, it gives you something different. So it's interactive. It helps with their counting, sensory, and I'm sure a whole bunch of other things. A cool thing that I've noticed is that even like if I tell them to go to timeout and there's books nearby, they will read. If I hear them being quiet and I'm like, every mom is like, why are they quiet? What are they, remodeling? And they could just be sitting down reading. So it's so cool. And I hate that I interrupt those times, but I need to make sure you're not remodeling something. And for adults, an easy thing that you can do is you can use a Kindle or you can do Audible. And I remember I read First Lady Michelle Obama's book that way, and it was so awesome because she actually read it to us. So to hear her story and her voice was amazing. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. I hope you got some tips. Please, please, please share what you do to make reading in your home amazing, what you do to get everybody involved. Remember that you are that mom, that dad, that boo, that brother, that sister, that friend, that uncle, that niece, that brother. Did I say brother? But I love you guys, and God loves you so much more. Here's to 2021. Until next time, love you guys.